Hi, welcome to my home and studio. I'm Babette, but I'm guessing you know that since you probably got here through my website. And I'm having a cozy cup of tea, and I would serve you that and make you comfortable. So I'm inviting you to do that for yourself as we're here in conversation. One of my first questions would be, what brings you here? And I'm wondering if you might ask me, well, I want to know how wholeness in motion and your work is relevant to my life or my work. And then I would ask you, well, what is your work? What is the area where you think this wholeness in motion might be relevant? So we'll start there. Perhaps you're here together with me because there's an obstacle in your life. There's pain that makes it hard to walk, or pain and tension that makes it hard to move and do what you want to do in your life. Or those other kind of obstacles that get in the way of like saying yes, or in the way of really being able to be in the world the way you're capable of. Or even the obstacles that get in the way of knowing your capability. And you want solutions. You want relief. And perhaps even through the process of gaining those solutions and relief, you gain experience and skills so that you're able to dance through and work through the inevitable struggles of life. And how lovely would it be if there's this bonus that in working together and through the work, you end up feeling more intact in yourself, and that you know the support that the earth and the world around you can offer you and doesn't ever go away. Perhaps that's what you're here for. So perhaps you're a mover, you have a movement practice, or you teach yoga or dance or some somatic work. And you might be here just to see how wholeness in motion could contribute and enhance the beautiful work you're doing. Or you might be someone with some nagging disquiet. That's what happened to me, where I just felt like the instructions I was giving, particularly in that alignment area, where it was as if my mind was bossing my body around, lift my sternum, put my head in a certain position. Or when I was giving feedback, I would be correcting someone, and they'd be looking to me to affirm what they were up to, or I would be always looking to my teacher to tell me if I'm okay or not. Something about that just didn't seem like fully what I wanted. So wholeness in motion and this work is really a lot about it orienting and putting movement in the context of the earth with gravity and the earth's support, and igniting movement as a whole. Like I'm touching the stars, I'm moving in action so that I'm not lifting an arm or positioning body parts. And that even when I'm doing specific anatomical work and information for efficiency, it's all about developing and interpreting the use of our internal information, the wealth of information that's here right within us through sensation and experience, so we ourselves can navigate what works and doesn't work for us, that we're really building trust in our own system. And all in an atmosphere where curiosity and sort of interest ignites change and learning. And it's not an atmosphere of like a push to improve, that somehow I'm not okay where I am. It's like I'm okay. It's amazing and miraculous where I am. And oh, wait, what's that around the corner? So wholeness motion has a lot to offer movers. So you're not here as a mover, or you're not really working on a struggle. You're here because you have an affinity for wholeness already. You might be using the word embodied, and you're perhaps an educator or a coach of some sort, or a leader, and you're thirsty for ways of bringing multiple ways of knowing into your work. You might actually be in an institution or trained in an institution where reductionist, empirical sciences are the only valid source of information. External, cognitive, intellectual knowing is valid. And you want some tools to be able to take that beautiful wealth of information in those fields and make it more experiential, honoring other ways of knowing, the internal experiential tools for discovery through observation and inquiry and assessment. And you also might want some support in creating your curriculum and your agenda so that you're really bringing the wholeness and embodiment and the multiple ways of knowing alive into your work and into the people you're working with. Wait, you're here because you're a change maker. You're someone that's already working in this wholeness field or in this direction, a related field. You might be an artist or an activist of some sort. And this is our first beginning of our collaboration together. When we first meet, we might spend a little time in sharing the grief and frustration of the destructive forces that are so alive in the world right now, destroying the planet and creating multiple worlds and people feeling so isolated and awful. But we won't spend hardly any time there because the joy and the beauty of this awakening back to this older and to us more accurate worldview, into the Western culture, into the Eurocentric culture of wholeness, of being interrelated to the planet and whole within ourselves. And we're going to get together to play around with how the alchemy of the beauty of your work and your knowledge base and skills and my knowledge base and skills together make something more than if we were just working isolatedly. How can we then see this perspective manifested in the world in policies and decisions that honor wholeness, honor nature, honor each other? And so I can't wait to meet and see what we can do. So maybe none of those reasons are what you're doing here. That just means give me a call. Let's have a conversation. So I can answer that question of how might this work be relevant to you and your work in the world. And in the meantime, for everyone, there are resources all over this website. We're kind of in that space. I can sort of feel it. And if you want, for example, a rather serious little lecture, 3 minutes, on why I think wholeness is one of the most hopeful and transformational ideas of our time, go to the About page, not about Babette, but About. And there's a script and a video. If you like to read and sort of do a deep dive on the resources page, there's actually a link to a draft of the book I'm writing, Remembering Our Wholeness, and lots of articles. And if you want to do some action, there's a lab and exploratorium and all kinds of examples of so you could feel what it is to work in this wholeness and motion perspective. There's also a theory of wholeness and motion playlist on YouTube. So lots of resources. And of course, join a class. You can do the first couple of weeks with no obligation, just to get a feel of how this work might be of value to you. So thank you so much for coming into our room. I hope your cup of tea, mine is almost empty by now, was good. Thank you so much.